Hi, everybody. It's Sherry St. Marie, and I'm still fabulous at this connecting three different accounts all at the same time, but I will get it. Thank you for joining me right now or after the fact. I think something that's incredibly cool we can all do, right, is watch media whenever we want to watch media. One of the things I enjoy is, of course, I do tons and tons of videos, right? I have 30,000 videos on my phone, work and personal. And I also am a live streamer. I enjoy it because it is in the moment. It's not edited. It's not perfect. It is the energy and presence of the live streamer showing up with you on platform right at the time. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is two beautiful words that are really popping up for a lot of people right now. And I think it's wonderful. And I think a lot of people are thinking, oh gosh, the word privacy. The word privacy. Oh, that's just for a certain income level. That's just for a certain kind of people, a certain situation. Or privacy means bad. Privacy absolutely does not mean bad. Privacy can absolutely be that it is private within a couple or within a family or something. It does not mean private as in a bad thing. It can be beautiful discretion. So here's one thing I'm going to do. I have a wide ranging background, right? From decades and decades of real estate. I've obviously raised three, thank goodness, amazing human beings. And I'm a new grandmother to a little baby girl who's 3 months old now, my Lily. And I'm going to come at this from a different perspective. So I've been on social media since 2009. A lot of us have to for work. A lot of us produce content that you like to watch. I mean, if we weren't here, you'd have nothing to do, right? You'd have nothing to learn depending on the platform you're on. So YouTube is my university where I learn all kinds of things. And I've really gotten into lately all the different change ups on there. I have a nephew who's a very serious YouTuber. So he makes a living on YouTube. And he reviews cars. His name's Matthew Dixon, or Matt. I'm an auntie. I call him Matthew. His name's Matt Dixon. So a lot of us have been on social media creating content for a lot of you for a long time. Some people do it socially for fun, of course, and others of us do it as a piece and part of our work, or I do it as also a piece and part of my why in the world. For one thing, I say this every once in a while, it all really started in 2009 with me having one of my former high school students encouraging me to get on Facebook. And I thought, what in the world would I do there, have anything to say there, right? Then it was my employer saying, I need you to be on LinkedIn. And I thought, oh, why in the world would I be on LinkedIn? Because I don't need a job, right? And then I did the TikTok thing and the whatever stuff. And so here we are. But part of my why, my children know, first of all, when it is ever my time to graduate on in life, my children will have streams and contents and digital tattoos of their mother in real life with her personality and her passion and her emotion and her fire in her belly and her fun and funny everywhere. So my children will, of course, get my phone with everything, but also their moms all over the place. I don't need even a celebration of life. I don't need a funeral, right? I don't need a place to be buried because their mom is all over the world. Your neighbor, if you're my neighbor, your friend, hi, if I'm your friend. That's originally where I started when I got on platforms. Let's fast forward. So I'm going to speak to you as a decades-long business owner, decades-long real estate agent, decades-long media producer. And here's where we are, both in the watcher. Those of you who get to beautifully watch and say nothing. Those of you who watch and say something, and we appreciate you all. I'm going to put us going into 2026 of where we are, what's happening in the world, where I see huge trends. And then I realized with my own insight that it's switching into a lot of other categories of our lives. So of course, first I started watching the connection, needing to feel connected. That's where they got us all hooked, right? On social media to start with our children when they were in middle school and high school and they're young 20s, and now they're getting married and they're having children. Our children, if you're my age, have been on since they were in middle school. And a lot of that really has been more than the decades I spoke about in the description, the promo. It is 15 years. And 15 years of adolescent and young 20s and then beginning marriages. That's a lot of impact for them. Let's not be unfair to all of the age groups and things, because I don't lump any of us into better or worse or whatever, or the young may think it doesn't affect us mature. It does. It affects us because we see the FOMO, we see the pretty picture, we see the, oh, my wrinkles, we see the, oh my gosh, and I'm going to get into it later. She was with him. And they said it was so fantastic. And then they broke up, and then she was with him and him and him. And these digital tattoos are like, wow. And you could even say a marriage, right? Because we hope that that is forever and stuff. And most of the time it is, and then you find yourself in a category of, is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend now? Because these girls, these young girls have been trained, and they trained the guys to, you have to be my digital tattoo in possession. Be pictured with me. It's you and me together. I want every woman or every man to know you're with me. You are mine. Mark my territory. In a new fashion, right? But there's a lot that's not really fabulous and smart to that. I'll get serious, and then I'll come in and grab a comment I see coming in, because I appreciate lives with people want to make a comment. Here's the thing. We've had enough for 10 years solid, including us very grown adults that are in the business world and our personal lives and maturing and moving on, and our kids growing up and all this stuff. And then we have our younger people, or we have our grandbabies coming on, but we're going, oh my gosh, please don't show her online, because it's fun to see her. Here's the thing. All of this stuff has really, if we're going to be super honest, it's been fun. Some of it's been fun. Some of it's been really hard and unhealthy. Some of it has created amazing opportunities. Some of it, I have met people I never in my lifetime would have been able to meet, and then be able to meet in person for real, and to learn about their experience and what they're doing and the opportunities that we have right now in terms of life, business, ways of work, ways of not working, ways of shutting it off, ways of not being at a desk and flying wherever we'd like to be for life, whether we're working or not working, are amazing. So I will give it all credit. And we're at a place where I started watching, and it's been going on for a long time. First of all, it was the layer of people with means that started paying much more attention to their privacy. Everybody used to show their bling online, right? Everybody used to show their cars online. Everybody used to show my big house online. Show my big house and say my name. Not so much anymore. So I'm be serious, because part of it is a big heartfelt what's happening in society and in the world and things like that. People are starting to make a different decision after a decade or a decade and a half of being overexposed, where I show you everything and I'm supposed to feel a pressure and an expectation to let you see me every day, and what am I thinking and where am I eating? Did you see my food? We saw food for a decade, and some of the food's beautiful, but I don't need to see all your food, and I don't need to feel pressured every week of, did you show your pretty food? And did you have anything to drink? And then you weren't supposed to show the drink anymore. So we're starting to see the first layer that started, much more of it was people with means that were starting to say, I want to back off. I've seen it a lot in the real estate category, which is my main area of career income, because they want the real estate agents, which we're happy to do it. We're used to it. I have 24 years into it. We are the ones that will show and tell and get sold and bought the properties. It is not the homeowner wanting their name up front even necessarily anymore. And it's because couple different things. They too are feeling overexposed. They too are feeling a safety issue of being overexposed. You may argue, oh, she sounded like an old lady about now. Let me put my glasses on and I'll check the chat. But I'm not an old lady. I'm actually pretty involved. I look like the director of the movie Equalizer. Thank you. I have no clue if that's a compliment or an offense. I'll have to look it up afterwards, but I do appreciate this is what's cool about lives anywhere. I'm on YouTube right now streaming, I'm on LinkedIn streaming right now, and I'm on Instagram streaming. And that is fun because those are all very different platforms, right? But we can get any different person coming up to contribute to the conversation. Oh, the actress is Melissa Leo. I will look that up. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. I like to live and then use the recording, right, for each of us in case the time wasn't well for you. You will see, I will give a shout out to the people that show up on live and make a comment or things like that, because that's the whole point. This genre, and I have a media company as well, St. Marie Media. I've been on camera since I was 5 years old as an unpaid child actor with NBC commercials with my mother working there. So I've done lots of different pieces of it, but let's go back to the topic. So this is actually a piece of my podcast. I have a podcast on my YouTube channel. So I have multiple channels that will be about real estate and life and things like that. They'll be segregated into buyers, sellers, commercial, trends, whatever, but I like life too. So I'm always going to have some categories that are interesting. I chose to do my podcast smart and a little bit sassy. And I called it Influence and Assets because literally I'm going to talk about influence and I'm literally going to talk about some hardcore assets, but I'm also going to talk about the intangibles of influence and assets. And so this episode today, as you can see, is called Connection and Privacy, Connected Privacy. And this is why, because we're watching this trend. As I said, it started with the people of some means, right? With them kind of saying, gosh, I feel a little bit overexposed. I don't necessarily want my name on my property if I can put it into a blind trust or something else like that. I want my agent to go forward and we have to do what I want to do. And I love the lives and I love actually selling real estate live is a lot of fun. We want these agents doing this stuff, but we want a layer of privacy and connection. So we're a little bit connected to get our property and our business done, but we are private in terms of we're not necessarily going to show and tell all of these things. I'm going to swing the genre because you'll start to get to know me. I don't want fights among the decades of generations of people. We can learn so much from each other. We have a lot of wisdom, those of us who are older. We are a culture in the United States who don't respect the elderly as much as they do in other countries. It's really a sad thing because there is still an awful lot of value or insight. A lot of people my children's age now are swinging back to us, moms, and having raised the kids, and some of that of kind of like, how did you do this? What was this like, and whatever. Happy to share. We are also, of me, I love being with the younger adults as well, children, because we learn from all of them. You guys know certain things I can't know or understand. But in the context of connected, here's where I'm going to see a huge swing for each one of us. If you want to pay attention and make some decisions for yourself, this is what it is. Instead of being connected, and I've had this myself of it's been coming for a couple of years, but a big hard stop when I'm seeing this trend much, much bigger right now. It is this. I was the trend queen. I am fun, funny, can be creative, give me a trend in 2 seconds and I'll do a 5-second video, or I could do a long hour and a half on YouTube, no big deal, right? Because I used to be a high school adult educator and college educator. And then here's what's happening. Now it is, and I don't blame us. We are exhausted. Our brain is saturated. It has been too fast of a scroll speed for nanosecond and nanosecond, 1 second culture, 1 second economy, 1 second income of the too fast, and we're tired and our brain we think we like it, but we don't. And then it's like, but here's the point. Step back and go. But if you want to be connected, not because people think you're intelligent, fun, and funny, and they have no clue really how incredibly smart you are because you don't slow your scroll and purposely choose how you want to be connected. And maybe you need to pull back a little bit of access because they had too much access, or certain people don't deserve the access they've had because we were in this super love affair of the millions of views and the possibility of juicy. I could be a millionaire if I just am online and hit it one day with a something, right? And all of that comes with a cost. But the beautiful part is it built us, right? So it built us. Those of us who've been out here swinging the bat, those of us who've been out here playing with the craft, those of us who've been out here creating, and that stuff all has made us become the talent, the interest, the experience, what we're doing. But we're not a robot. So it is now, let's decide how we want to be connected, who gets actual access. I have tremendously backed up. I have a very beautiful family that I'm really, really thankful for. Some of you realize, and people always want to know about my kids because they've seen them grow up online and in the neighborhoods and all over the place. And it's fun to stay connected because we like to see what happened to them. I remember that little kid that like kept wiping out on the hill in our neighborhood, and I felt so bad on the skateboard. And then what happened to him now? We want to know that. But we want to do that in a beautiful way in terms of what you want to be showing. And so I have 3 children of my own that are grown. My son is married. My daughters are getting married. And I have this new grandbaby. I have the photos up on the wall, but I'll be showing less. I can also come into this category and go, let's move us past the people of affluence where I started with you on them wanting more privacy in their life, which made sense. It has nothing to do with income level or education, this whole brilliant idea of connected privacy. I'm connected, but I also have beautiful privacy. And every single person, regardless of income status, education, can choose that. And we're seeing big trends going that way, right? So that's the most important thing I want to say, is that it has nothing to do with status and levels. I'd also like the ones with means and influence to understand. It also has nothing to do with income level and whatnot. So when you'd like to say, oh, but you don't have access to me, certain of you don't have access to me either by my choice, or any of you sitting here, right? So that's the part I think that's important. I think the thing that's super cool, and again, I used to be high school marketing teacher, college educator, been in real estate for 24 years. Here's the part that's cool. We're at a really neat, cool time in technology. Some of it, we just need to make sure and remember we're the driver. They aren't driving the bus. They don't tell us what to do. We're the ones that are going to make these decisions, right? But then when you come back and take a look at these trends in being connected, where a lot of us have to for our job. A lot of our jobs are actually telling us we need to like quadruple how much we are online, no matter how old we are, because of our connection and age, and keep my name out there for real estate for you and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of us are being told that regardless. And then some of you are employees who are being told you need to be online. That's a whole interesting, different thing, because I used to teach career education, right? And the whole thing of you have to expose yourself and show yourself online to keep a job, that's a new thing. And then the bigger trend going on right now is honestly CEOs needing to be a social media brand and trend as part of their job function to carry the business. We've seen them show up twice a year, but they are now trending and moving into this. The CEO has to have a moving, living, breathing. The audience gets to see, know you, hear what's happening. What's your, life like? Is that fair? I don't know, right? We right now are watching, and I'll say one timely thing. Savannah Guthrie, I feel just terrible that her 84-year-old mother is missing, right? And journalism and lots of different career areas are being targeted for an unsafe situation for their jobs and online and being connected and privacy. And we want to see your life and show us on vacation and show us your mom who's 84, and heaven forbid something should happen to somebody because of their child's life that has to be involving with some of these pieces. And so what this does, rather than make us feel fearful, is that it gives us a beautiful opportunity to watch the inside of trends and make some decisions for ourselves. I really think we're going to start seeing, and we are seeing already, lots of different people at all situations of life choosing, I'm not going to show and tell the entire thing. I have been somebody where I don't post while I'm active live at an event. So when I'm going out to a lot of different things I've done in multiple states and around the country and things like that, I don't post usually while I'm at there, because then it marks me, right? And it marks my place I'm at and things like that. We will see a lot more people making choices about, what they want to post and say and how much they want to be involved and things like that. I am going to, because this is streaming on LinkedIn, which is primarily a business platform, I have great networking by choice there. So I do not accept everybody. I will vet your profile. But I am global because I'm part of the global real estate community. But here's what I want to say. We are coming back to this situation to make some decisions for each of us and all of us on our own. So I'm streaming on LinkedIn, which is a particular primary business platform, but I use it for a wild swing of everything. I am on Instagram, which is very, I'm used to. Picture perfect, and is so not me, right? And I'm also on YouTube, where I've avoided, but I do need to absolutely and want to get a community there that can be both real estate and life of all different things, so that we have a better opportunity to connect, answer questions, get to know each other, and all of that really great stuff. So this is a weird topic for LinkedIn. However, my LinkedIn people, which I am a top voice on LinkedIn and have been for a very long time, I want to talk about this because it involves global and it involves our business life and our personal life. And that is this. In terms of connected privacy, I'm going to start with an article that got really misunderstood about our life right now. And it came out in the British Vogue edition. And it was a couple months ago. And the article was the question of, is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend now? Remember, I'm speaking to you as a mother, a business owner, I'm 58, I'll tell you, I have no problem with that. Was married for a very long time, have been on my own for almost a decade. This is what it is. The article is misunderstood because the article wildly came out saying, yes, it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend now. And that didn't really necessarily mean young people, but let me explain, because it was misunderstood. It was viral. People got nasty and not well. But here's the insight for us and the beautiful clarification, because it isn't men and women dislike each other tremendously and all this stuff. None of that is really good for us. Here's what it is. What they meant by that article was, yes, particularly at 40s and above, it feels embarrassing to say, I have a boyfriend. A boyfriend is like 12, 14, 16, 17. I mean, I would hope he's a man if any of us over 40 are dating them, or they're our partner or whatever. Here's the other pieces as you layer into these things. Our children have been taught social dynamics to mark their boyfriend and their girlfriend online their whole juvenile and young adult life. That's huge for you to recognize in terms of social dynamics, social media, relationship health, and work. So how they were socialized was, you need to be seen with me so people know you're, with me. Or I've seen a lot of even adults that were married and whatnot, their Facebook account has to be so-and-so and so-and-so. Okay, I mean, whatever. But then let's move into business. We get into situations like, this is real, whether you're married or dating, and particularly dating, because that's not obviously as serious a commitment, Coldplay and whatnot. And gosh, I don't want any digital tattoos. I don't want I have a lot of digital tattoos. A digital tattoo is, right? Any of my social media posts, any of my comments, I'm leaving a permanent mark, because our kids think they can delete that and it's all gone because they're used to skimming their Instagram and thinking it's gone. There's a cache. It's not gone. It's permanent. Somebody can get it. It's not that hard, right? But in terms of dating or seeing people or whatever, the last thing anybody of serious adult age wants, honestly, is, oh my God, we're so in love. This is our, and 6 months later, a year later, 4 years later, and then you got to try again, and da, 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 da. This is what it meant by the British Vogue article of, is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend now? Yes, probably. Because also it makes the woman feel at an adult age of, I'm a business working woman. Do I really have to show the man I'm with so that you all know when I'm on social media? Because guess what? I wouldn't, particular because I have to be on social media and I am on social media. I wouldn't be dating somebody who's not really secure, and also I'm amazing, so that they know I am never in the DMs with anybody. I am very upfront about what I'm doing at all times. Happy to answer you. Happy to have you see my phone shell you think you need to. No big deal, because I'm not doing anything. Okay. So we do not at all mean to be, this is a privacy thing, or this is a, FOMO, or I can tell you for almost a decade now how many married men have massive issues with private chats and such and whatnot and all this stuff. So I'm not a fan. So my point being that my response of, yeah, it's a little embarrassing to have this digital tattoo of your, whom you're personally or intimately with, online, and it stays with you. Even our younger people, we're rethinking that in terms of privacy. And a lot of it has to do with sacredness for that person, wanting to protect them. Again, being completely upfront, honest, and everything with them in everything that's going on, or what you two are doing, or blah, 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 however you guys are working things out. But it is this, I don't really need to post you or say you or whatever. And a lot of them don't prefer it. So I can just tell you, in my decades as an independent woman after my divorce, I've dated 3 people. All 3 of them happen to be business owners, very successful business owners. Not that I pursued them. And the biggest joke is I'm the biggest failure as a gold digger, because I'm not one. And so my proof of that is, it resulted in breakfast, dinner, lunch, flowers, and some drinks. And that's it, because that's not who I am. But back to this point, each one of us, as we take a choice or a chance to see somebody, or, start a relationship, or unfortunately, heaven forbid, it ends or whatever, we all take the risk. We're realizing when we're connecting in our personal and private life that it can impact our business. It can impact our business based on, I didn't realize, my gosh, I didn't know the background of you for about 2 years, or whatever it is, of like, wow, I didn't know this or that, right? Or more so than even business, for me personally, it is me as a parent. That matters a lot to me. I want to keep my reputation intact as a mom for the way I want myself to be, or what I would or wouldn't be involved in, and how my kids know me and my grandchildren and their spouses. That's huge to me. And the secondary one would be me as a person myself, how I just am in the world, how my neighbors know me, how people in the grocery store know me, any of those kind of things, they matter. And so it has nothing to do with level or lifestyle or something. These are choices that can be for each one of us, which is cool. Let me go make this more lighthearted and more fun. I think it's beautiful. In fact, I think it's gorgeous. Connected privacy. Because what it does, those of us who are catching on to it, is I just may show you a little glimpse. I may show you a little less. So you might see like a piece or a part of something, but you may not see the whole thing. And you may not see it right at the time, and you may not, whatever. But sometimes it is to protect a person. Some of us are way more creative than other people, right? Of those 3 businessmen, I can guarantee you, and they were all very well aware of my social media and all this kind of stuff, and they were okay with it, right? I mean, obviously, or it wouldn't have worked very well. But it is also, that wasn't their comfort zone themselves. They weren't of that huge creativity and whatnot. They enjoyed the videos, they loved the thought, that the insight's good, all this stuff, but they were not of that amount of creativity, because what was beautiful about each of them, and huge kudos to them, is that they were companies that were employing and working with lots of people that created lives, right? Or lifestyles or things like that. needing to be much more buttoned up and things like that. Those are things to think about for each of us. So I'm not at all ever saying it just about myself. It is about, sometimes it's a beautiful protection and honoring of your business life or your relationships. So it can be your intimate person or not. It can be how you handle yourself so that if you should ever be in a new, different relationship, that you processed and handled the situation, including online digital tattoos and dead bodies. I don't mean for real. Are there, right? These are the things that we're starting to think about that are amazing, I think, and an incredible opportunity for each one of us. They matter. They can be fun. It is causing me, honestly, I have spent 6 years on fast speed platforms and content where I can do anything from 3 to 7 seconds, but I can also do, right, 2-hour long format. It is allowing me as well to pull back and say, gosh, I'm really seeing this, connected and privacy, and I want to make some really nice choices. I'm going to switch up this piece. I'm not going to just put out this trend because people love me. It's fun and funny. But if you don't do business with me, I don't necessarily need to give so much, right? Unless I am trying to, which is my mission as well, help you smile, think, or laugh, or make the world a better place today. That's okay, right? But a lot of it is, if it's for business, I don't need to entertain you. I don't need to give you such access, right? Because each of us in our businesses have people who say they want to do business. They really would love to have access to us for whatever reason that happens to be. And they really have no intention of what they've said, right? So access is the other piece of between connected and privacy that I think a lot of people are starting to take another look at of, again, regardless of there is no levels or income or education about access. I don't care if you're absolutely huge and a multi-millionaire or billionaire, which I have friends like that. There's certain of you whose access has been cut off for you. I'm sorry you missed me. Because it doesn't have to do with income level and things like that. It has to do with, if this is not feeling right and good for where I'm at, the access for any single one of us can be cut off or changed. Or put yourself in a category, those of us who have to be online and live and doing all of this kind of stuff. All right. And then here's the way you're able to get access to me. In general, yes, you make a comment and I want to make a connection. You make a comment that is either having to do with inappropriate hater or safety. I'm not responding to you. You're deleted. You're just deleted. I don't need to say anything, right? Why I want to bring these things up is not really because of me. I use myself as a conduit, a teacher, a talker for you. And I'm really wanting to bring it to your awareness, your insight, your opportunity for yourself to be able to take a look at and go, I kind of like this idea of connected. So I want to be connected. I feel a huge connection online. So there's a huge good part about it. There's no question. When my children all left me and went to college, I say it jokingly because they had to, and that was my job. A lot of times, that's when I started to get on social media much more and felt much more connected of all the different people I met. Of all different genre and walks of life, and all of that's super interesting to me. I love the conversations. I like to learn things. There's lots of things that I never thought I would do, but I'm doing. All of those kind of things are pretty cool. But I always want to come at this huge humanitarian place of, that means for each of us. That means each one of us has the opportunity, the right, should we want to, the taking a look at what has been the impact of the last 10 or 15 years on overexposure to you and privacy, or lack of privacy, right? We were taught over the last decade, for sure, every one of us, you have to perform. So your private moments are not your private moments. You're performing. You're performing for the picture. You're performing for the, aren't we fabulous? You're performing for, oh, they love me. Aren't I smart? That's not the real actual moment a lot of times, right? And so we've all been in that, if we're honest. We've been in a piece or a volume of that for a while. And it makes us behave differently. It makes us take away some of those private moments that were just not really meant to be on display. And then I'll also be honest and say just one comment. It's weird. And it's not just because I'm older. It's weird to me to take personal relationships and expose them all out to everybody about, aren't we phenomenal and aren't we the greatest love? And we like, why do we need to know that? Why do we need to know every piece and opportunity and every single day? Like, that's for you too. And we're thrilled for you. And that's wonderful. We're happy for you. Again, pictures are nice and things, but to live your entire private relationship out in public, you have to ask yourself why you're doing that. Each one of us, if anybody's doing that, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing that? And again, a piece and part that's not necessarily fair to our children. A lot of social culture went that way. I don't think it's good for us. I don't think it's healthy for us. And it can be something that creates this performing for the look of it, performing for the non-substance, right? And so this is the cool part of each of us being able to go, gosh, I see this, or I like that part, or, ooh, I didn't like this thing that we're looking at or we're talking about. And again, I'm the biggest advocate for, there's a piece of me, right, that, I mean, I don't necessarily love the haters online and things. I always talk about that. But I do very much appreciate the tools and opportunities, the way that we're able to be as connected as we are, which we never used to be. I can take you for a walk live down on the beach at Vanderbilt or Naples Beach anytime. That's amazing, because then I could share the sunshine and share the beautiful walk and the grounding with anybody in the world that is able to connect and tie in, right? But the fun part is this: how would you like to be connected? And what level of privacy would you like? And who should not have access to you anymore? That's your right, you know? And who should have access to you? And what do you want to offer? These are some beautiful questions. I appreciate you guys coming on live when sometimes you don't exactly know what I'm talking about. I'd first put this out actually on Instagram, and one of my pilot realtors. So he is in the Fort Lauderdale area, and I work with him on branding and things like that. Lots of good conversations. We're not from the same brokerage. And he said to me, "Oh my gosh, I'm surprised. I should have seen this from you, but I didn't realize the depth of this." So I can be very fun, funny, lighthearted. Then there's another side of me that's very wide swinging, deep intelligence. Like, what do we want to do here? Isn't this cool? And thank you for showing up. And each one of us, I'm so tired of the sea of sameness. I'm so bored. I said it. I'm bored with all the homes looking the same, all the interiors looking the same. I don't care if you're luxury or regular. And all of the more flips, so everybody's got the duck lips, and then the more face, and so then all of a sudden you start watching online. And then this trend was the exact same thing. And that started on TikTok, right? Now I was guilty of that. I did that for a long time. Here's a trend, but everybody does it in a little bit different way, but it all looks the same. Here's the beautiful part that I'll end with in terms of connected privacy. This is the great part. We're getting tired, right, of we had the trends, then we went to everybody was a talking head. I'm being a talking head technically today. I don't like to do that so much. I'm good at it. I can do it much more calm and sincere on topics, but we get tired of that too. It's giving each one of us an opportunity to go, wow, she gave me some things to think about today. Yeah, I like this part in this part of my life, but this part I don't. Or I'm online, so I would like to make sure my person, should I have one, understands I'm all about you. I'm just only ever all about you. None of this is, whatever you want to say. But these are the cool things about the opportunities of our times, the ability to watch and listen, to recognize and acknowledge what's happened to us and the impact it's had on this nanosecond culture. And a lot of people would like to slow it down, slow the pace down. They're going a little more to YouTube than the fast stream of for reasons. And so it's a beautiful thing. And a lot of the connection and privacy can be free. Thank you for joining me today. Give me a message or a comment or reach out. I am going to be primarily on these couple of platforms, right? Privately, I'm on Facebook just with family, friends that my kids and I have all grown up with. But have an awesome day. Thank you.